Got everything broke apart here. Getting ready to sandblast and parkerize it. Black dip, then parkerize it. Everything's turned out not too bad so far. Got the center support rivet in, all everything's done, all the trimming of the upper rails and the mag stabilizer's done. There's one other thing I'm going to have to do before I do anything else, and it's going to involve my bolt and my bolt carrier. Most everyone realizes that that's the ejector. That's what causes the shell, the spent shell, to fly out. You know, you have a groove in here. That groove slides right in between there. But as you can see, oops. But it's purposely made oversized. So now we've got to come in and trim this. Just enough to get it to all work together. Another thing you might want to watch for, and only because this is from personal experience. I don't know if you'll notice right here. See that burr? Little boogered up spot right there. Camera's upside down, sorry. Now on this, basically this is the cam. It rides inside this groove here, and that's what gives it the twist. It's not super important that that is addressed. I mean, but obviously you should. Don't take a bunch off of it, just clean the little burr off of it. Where you really don't want a burr is on one of the locking lugs, like right in here, or on this side. And I'm saying this because I had one here on a parts kit I did a while back. Now, I didn't pay attention, didn't notice that little burr. And when I head spaced this thing, or not this one, the other one, everything was perfect. All worked good, went into lockup, everything worked good with the go gauge, no go gauge. Went and shot it a few times. One day I decided, hey, I'm going to just play around with my gauges again. Put the no-go gauge in there, locked up perfect. Just as pretty as could be. And I was like, uh-oh, what's wrong? Well, when I pulled it out, I noticed that there was a smashed section on the back of the locking lug. That was from a burr, similar like what's up here, that I didn't address or pay attention to. When that little burr on there, that little piece of metal sticking out, caused it to headspace where I wanted it was fine, but when I started shooting it and all the pressure and the actual, being used, because there's a lot of pressure being put on these things, it ended up smashing that little burr down and taking care of its own, the problem itself. But then the headspace was out slightly. It was still usable, but I ended up having to take the barrel pin, push it out, re-headspace it, and then oversize it and put a bigger pin in. And I have drill rod and everything here that I cut to size, heat treat, and then push a new barrel pin in. So I'm just letting you guys know that. Look for little burrs on here before you start headspacing. Of course, most of you probably know that, but I should have. It's one of them learning experiences. One of them little uh-ohs. But right now, we're going to take care of this little problem. It really isn't much of a problem, but we'll take care of this right quick. Almost. And I'm sure under normal working condition it would probably work. don't want to get too overzealous with it, just a little bit at a time. Alright. Well, it's time to black dip and parkerize all this stuff so we can get ready to assemble it. Some people may be saying, well, why would you be doing that before you assemble it? Well, I'm going to do this one a little differently. Normally I would go ahead, populate the barrel, drill all the holes, get everything pinned on the barrel, get a headspace, get it all put together, and then turn around, sandblast it, and then black dip and park it. But I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I'm going to do all the pieces individually, seeing how the barrel is in like mint condition and perfect. It may not matter, but I'm just going to try this one differently. Go ahead and get everything black dip, parkerized. Then I'll put it together. I'm not so much worried about scratching it up here and there because it's probably going to get painted anyway. So there'll be very little scratches as long as you're careful with it anyway. Some of the small parts, put in a little stainless steel basket here. That helps you put them in and retrieve them out of the solutions. The rest of this stuff will be hanging from wires. And I guess we'll put that in there. Alright. You may hear the condensation falling off the park tank there, hitting the flames underneath. What I have is a manganese phosphate park solution over here, and this is just a water bath tank. Over here, this will be filled up with a black dip solution. There's all my little pieces for holding stuff in the solution, because you really don't want everything to sit right on the bottom. You kind of want it to be suspended off the bottom a little bit. Once this gets to temperature, in fact, I should probably put my thermometers in there. Of course, I just got started, so I know it's nowhere near temperature right just yet. We'll get this thing up to temperature, and I'll show my procedure for doing all this stuff. Alright, our temperature now is between 195 and 200, so it's about ready. I'm going to take you over to the black dip tank here. And I'm going to put the trunnion in here. Something I can do single-handed, then show you how it goes into the park solution. Alrighty, and from there, right in. See, it starts to bubble, almost like Alka-Seltzer. Alright, I'll get the camera set up and just start doing all the parts. This is kind of tedious, and once you start, you don't want to stop. I just wanted to show you this one part that I could do single-handed. You might be able to see the trunnion's already nice and black, but it's not even done yet. Alright, once this stuff stops bubbling, kind of like fizzing or whatever, like Alka-Seltzer, you take it out of your Park solution, put it in your water bath, dilute the solution, and then you'll take it, and I hit it with LPS or WD-40 or something, especially if you're not going to be working with it right away, because it will rust in a hurry. It will flash rust. Just make sure you lube it up or whatever, or go straight to paint, whatever you're going to do with it. I'm going to be lubing it up because I'll be putting it together at a later date. Some parts get done a lot quicker than others. Stick it in here, dilute it in this warm water. Might be able to hear me squirting it down with LPS, but you can't see it. But I'm doing this by myself, so I can only put the camera in one spot. Alright, we got our last few parts in there. We got our small parts in our little basket here. Everything's going along just fine. You can see all the parts that I've got soaking in LPS over here. They turn out just as black as all get out. Looks a little messy, I know. Usually I lay paper towels or something down, but these tables are used only for this, so I don't care. One thing I do want to say is when you put your parts into your black dip, make sure to shake them around a little bit. Don't let bubbles collect on them. The bubbles will actually cause imperfections and it will shade slightly differently. So shake them off, then bring them over and put them in your solution. Well, here's everything black dipped and parkerized. Doesn't look too bad. Like I said, these things turn out really black. I'm going to let them sit here and soak on this paper towel. I'll put some more paper towel over the top of them and spray it. Just let them sit here and soak for 24 hours, a week, just whatever you want to do. Like I said though, just make sure you put something on it if you're not going to go straight to paint, because it will flash rust like crazy on you, and then you'll have to go back and sandblast and start all over. Now I don't remove this if I'm not putting a 922R compliant part on it. This is stainless obviously, and well, it doesn't park, so the park take is stainless. So you don't have to worry about that. But the parts turned out very nice. They're just as black all inside. Yeah. Alright. Let's get ready to put this thing together.